assets.
We can crack the wallet.
Oh, we've done it before.
We've got rigs, character adversary, attribution mode.
With our private keys combined.
Building some kind of blockchain super weapon.
There's just a number of vulnerabilities that are in the smart contracts.
Math. It's probably secure.
They all secretly mine cryptocurrency.
What coin can I trust? Which one is cryptographically secure?
Don't roll your own crypto. CoinSecPodcast. Welcome to the CoinSecPodcast. Ralph was just telling us how he's going to buy us a yacht, which I'm ready for.
And no, in sand or whatever. Yeah.
So no. Actually, I think the plan is we should just find an oligarch's yacht and start squatting on it.
Just squat on it. Oh, we could go.
Speaking of oligarchs,
great Portland.
I don't know if you saw. There was a I guess a committee hearing or something. I think it was yesterday with Senator Warren, talking about how to crack down more on private wallets and sending transactions and stuff. Anyways, her main argument was about an oligarch with $1 billion that they were trying to launder. And the person she was talking to, I believe he was he was from Chainalysis. I can't remember what position he had at Chainalysis, but he was very straightforward. No, we can track that. The mixing pools have $30 million. And so if somebody tries to send $1 billion through,
Oh no.
Well, yeah, I mean, as we saw with recent news from the Versace Bedouin, money laundering is not as easy as it might look.
Yeah.
we have not missed an episode yet, have we? Since
I mean, obviously they weren't necessarily experts, despite what the government might say, but it is hard. I mean, like we were talking about before the show, there's on-ramps and there's off-ramps. If you want to get that sweet greenback, you're gonna need some off ramps.
Yeah,
that are centralized.
You gotta know
they
a
needed
guy.
a Mac truck of off ramps, right?
Yeah, you're gonna need a big
Spread
off ramp.
Yeah.
So
This is $1 billion and hundreds is a lot. I remember seeing
we've seen, Breaking Bad, dude. You can lay on it. It's like a pile.
Dude, it's like pallets, man.
It's like a house.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like a house of money. Yeah.
Yes.
Or $1 billion in rubles. That's like
That's
couple
like
wheelbarrows.
$45 or something. Right?
$45. Yeah.
Yeah. That's rough math.
Nice. Well, all right. Well, welcome to the CoinSecPodcast, everyone. We're here for episode 59. If you want to follow along the show notes today, I'm gonna go ahead and paste those in the chat. And we are hanging out in the live chat channel of Discord. So if you want to come chat with us, make sure you join us there. We've got, flash loan exploits. We got malware. We've got all kinds of stuff to talk about today. So we can, I guess, jump right into it. Should be fun. I guess let's start. First story for today. We've got Agave and 100 Finance Hacked. So not one, but two decentralized finance protocols, Agave and 100 Finance, were exploited in a fresh case of reentrancy. Our friend. The hacker reportedly managed to siphon funds worth $11 million in wrapped ETH, wrapped BTC, Chainlink, USDC, Gnosis, and wrapped XDAI on both DeFi protocols on the Gnosis chain using a flash loan exploit.
When are they going to come out with double wrapped coin, double wrapped ETH, right? Just 3 layers deep or something. I don't know.
What are those? The toys where it's the box inside the box inside the box?
A Russian nesting doll?
Yeah.
Matroska or whatever. Matroska.
Right.
Doll.
Yeah.
That's
they
the Russian
have to
name for it.
Something like that. Matroska coin.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
And it's
I guarantee you that
it's
already exists.
Wrapped ETH, wrapped Bitcoin, wrapped whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
It's actually inflation proof, I heard, because it's so wrapped. If one goes up, the other one compensates for it. I don't know. Is that how that works?
Yeah, I like how there's a tweet by Moodit that says the difference between Agave and Agave is that Agave actually checks for reentrancy.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe they're just gonna take the Agave tokens and age them into tequila tokens. I don't know.
Wow, man. And then turn it into I hear that liquor companies are on the up and up, right? starting
They
like
are?
a homegrown, like has to be like non-GMO.
How can? Okay.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Get out of here, dude.
Okay. Sorry, I'll leave.
And no surprise here, but the attacker has begun laundering the funds through Tornado Cash.
Oh, our favorite.
Our friend, yeah, favorite, which we were just talking about, which it's kind of interesting. So, I mean, apparently, I guess Tornado has like $30 million locked, right? So, like, if you do anything more than that, or if you have like a relatively larger sum, like
You're not
$500
getting
million
away with $1 billion
$1
on there. Just
you're
a
not getting
heads
away
up.
with it, no.
No.
That's hurricane cash,
Yeah.
not tornado cash.
Category 5.
Yeah, that's a much. You're
Cat
gonna need a
5?
bigger storm for that.
Yeah. Or just hold it long enough until they have enough in there to like not be noticed. I don't know.
Hurricane Cash, nice. No,
Working
that's
on
OpenSea.
That's
Hurricane
open
Cash.
to-
All right, so moving on. Deus, Deuce. How do you say this? Deus.
Let's probably say
Finance?
Deus. It's funnier if it's
Deus.
Deuce. It's definitely Deus, but it's
Deus.
funnier if it's Deus Finance.
Deuce. The deuce.
Deus Finance Hacked.
Someone
$3
dropped the
million.
deuce on Deus.
Oh, only
Oh.
$3 million. That's a baby deuce.
Baby.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So crypto derivatives platform Deus Finance was exploited for over $3 million worth of cryptocurrencies. The attack on Deus Finance occurred on its Phantom network iteration. Deus Finance allows developers to build and issue financial instruments such as derivatives or options on its platform. Hackers use flash loans again to manipulate the contract
Love 'em.
that determined the price of DEI, DAY, I guess is the token there on Deus Finance.
So, what is crypto derivatives? Is that options trading, kind of like on a stock market? Is it like, all right, dude, Tesla's gonna go down. I'll bet you $10.
Yeah, I guess.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. You nailed it. Another flash loan here. I love flash loans. They're the most useful thing in DeFi.
That is true.
I just want to read the article, like the one that someone's like, so user used flash loans and made a bunch of money legally. Just one time. I mean, I'm sure that's possibly that it has happened. I don't know.
Nobody reports on that.
Yeah, nobody reports on the good stuff. Only the
Only
bad
bad news, guys.
Only bad news.
bad.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. That's what this show's all about. Only bad news.
stuff. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We are focusing on the bad.
I mean, it is also funny that I did see a random post on Reddit that was like, I used a flash loan to make $400,000 from like price jumps in wrapped something, and they were like, and the platform like canceled the trade and like set like took their money back.
How?
So I don't know. Maybe some people are cracking down on flash loans.
Cracking down on making money.
I know, right? But I guess choose your exchange wisely.
So blockchain data shows that over 3 million USDC tokens were stolen from Deus, which was exchanged for 200,000 DAI and 1,100 ETH via decentralized exchange Multichain, which we talked about them a few episodes back and some of the issues that they ran into. The funds were then withdrawn to the privacy swap tornado.
What?
Tornado Cash again. Our friend.
How long
Tornado
until
Cash.
some attacker puts their money into one of these decentralized exchanges and then another attacker steals their money while it's in the exchange?
I can't wait for Tornado to get hacked.
Right? Like, yeah. When is that going to happen? Like, how?
Well,
what
that's-
is?
So it's funny
when did,
because
when did that storm happen?
on Tornado Cash's website, they straight up say they're like, we've been audited. However, know that this is an experimental thing and use at your own, risk or whatever.
Yeah. What if Tornado Cash is just one big rug and they're just waiting for it to be like $1 billion or something, right? So that they have to go find someone to launder their money.
Yeah.
I have a
guess
feeling that
that's where Hurricane Cash comes in.
people have probably looked.
That's what. Yeah, it's
pretty
Hurricane.
deep. I would imagine, like that people have probably taken quite a heavy look at Tornado's contracts, but
Well,
You
it's
think?
also, I mean, dude, it's the classic thing of like cottage industries, right? Like they're making money from all these transaction fees. They don't really care. Like if from their perspective, like if bad people are using them, if good people are using them, they get the 0.2% or whatever it is every transaction, no matter what. So
Can you
you
stake
gonna do?
Tornado?
yeah,
Is it a
yeah, you can stake.
it's
it's-
torn.
It's torn
Torn.
and it's like it's on every decentral DeFi. Like it's on open or 1inch. It's on
like
Unicorn.
if you like buy some, are you like in essence kind of like committing to like making proceeds from illegal activity?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Like, so if you're staking, does that what's that called? Like where you're an assistant or whatever to a
a,
crime?
An accomplice.
Accomplice.
Yeah. Like you'd be.
I mean, does a unicorn poop in the woods?
I mean, you're
I
funding.
mean, probably. It's just the question: is it rainbow or not?
You're
I
funding
mean-
the mechanism in which somebody has illegally used some money. I don't know.
Okay, so
You do
in let's if you go to a car wash that's run by Walt Whitman or Walt Whitman,
Cool.
if you go to a car wash that's run by Heisenberg and you put in your quarters and you get your car washed, and he says it costs him $30 for you to wash your car, and it actually costs you $4, are you party to a crime? I don't think so. I mean, I think that all those mattress stores, like this is my conspiracy theory, all those mattress stores have got to be money laundering, dude. There's a mattress store on every corner. Like, who is like, oh, dude, it's Tuesday morning, time to buy a mattress? Like, I don't know. So I
Yeah.
guess no,
Well-
customers of money laundering operations aren't like vulnerable to criminal prosecution, at least not in the real world. I don't know about in crypto world. Is anyone? That's why I said, does a unicorn poop in the
anyone-
woods? Is anyone vulnerable to any kind of prosecution? I don't know.
I mean,
Like,
some people are. Some people are, right? I mean, we were just talking about the Vedawin,
yeah, but dude, that's a cut and dried case, right?
Is
It's
it?
obvious theft and then money laundering, right? But like, dude, again, how long is it going to take a U.S. judge or any other country's judge to even figure out what a die is? What
I know. I
or-
was about to say, aren't
what
these
is
other
wrapped
guys
ETH?
cut and dry?
What is wrapped ETH? Okay, the court would like to take a 2-week recess to figure out what wrapped ETH is. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
All right. Hold on. Step back though. Wouldn't you say that Tornado Cash is just a money laundering network, right?
no, it's not. It's
No?
privacy.
It's a privacy network. Yeah, yeah.
It, if I want to send you ETH, Ralph, and I don't want anyone knowing that I sent you ETH, I got to use Tornado Cash because everyone knows our wallet addresses. It's
Okay,
that
but
I
simple.
guess you could say the same thing about like running a Tor node, right? Like if I
Yeah.
run a Tor node, does that make me an accomplice to whatever somebody does on that network?
I mean, we're
So
talking-
that is, I believe that is actually played out in court too. I think.
Yeah, but if you can use something for money laundering, right? Or wait, let me take that back. If they can prove you used it for money laundering, and that's maybe its only purpose, I mean, like, I don't think it's going to have a whole lot of support from like law enforcement, right?
Well, so dude, the people that run Tornado Cash are definitely vulnerable. The people that use Tornado Cash for money laundering are definitely vulnerable. Me staking my money in Tornado Cash, probably not.
Yeah, I agree.
And if nothing else, just because of the simple fact of like the complexity of prosecuting that. Right?
Yes.
Like
Proving
Like-
you knew that it was being used for that, and you were making money from it.
that's why they just like, they go for the on ramps and the off ramps, like we've talked about, right? That instead of like trying to go after the actual, DeFi crimes, they go after the action of like you stole cryptocurrency. That's
I mean,
illegal.
Don't you think that they would go? I mean, I'm surprised they haven't started to go after the creators of Tornado, or operators of Tornado Cash from profiteering from money laundering.
Well, but dude, like how are they gonna make a legal argument for that? Right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a strong argument.
it's
I'm
the
just
classic thing of like
saying, it feels obvious to me. That's all I'm saying. It
it's
just
the
feels-
classic. Okay, here's another analogy. VPN providers,
Sure.
right? Are VPN providers liable for the things that people do using their networks? I mean, obviously we've seen let's just go ahead and assume that VPN providers play ball when the FBI comes knocking for their logs,
but
right?
Let me put that back
Well,
in your court though. A couple VPN providers that have been used exclusively for ransomware tend to get shut down by federal government agencies, right? Now,
True.
I agree with you that like, should they be liable? I don't know, but dude, if you got an X on your back, man, like.
I mean, you're right. So it comes down to Tornado Cash. First of all, has to be able to prove or disprove, which I would bet money they don't have any like logs. Like they don't have any like way of knowing who is using the network, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of like when the crypto wallet providers got sanctioned by the Canadian government. They're like, we literally cannot do this. Like, we cannot stop these transactions.
Yeah, and so the other really important thing to highlight here is it's a smart contract. It's just deployed to the blockchain. Like, there's nothing they can do to like stop it. I mean,
they could undeploy it.
Can they though?
They could pause it. There's probably
not always.
I mean, if it's a rug, they can.
Yeah, we can. I mean, we can look at the contract, but unless there's possible
hold on.
features,
so you're right. You're right, Bo. You can't stop it, right? Like that's like the whole point, right? But we also know that like as a human, right? Like I can't stop a bullet either, or I can't somehow get out of a U.S. prison easily, right? So I mean, like you could stop the person who's maintaining it, though, right?
Who's maintaining it?
Obviously, somebody.
It's a contract, dude. It's just a contract deployed to the blockchain. There's no maintenance.
Okay.
It's like, dude, it's autonomous at this point, right? Like it's something that people interact with because they want privacy.
If it was, then we wouldn't have anything to talk about because you'd write one contract to be perfect for life and it never need an update.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
there
also
the
there
payouts.
might be vulnerabilities in the future, right? There might be issues.
Yes.
They can't necessarily stop the smart contract, but they can seize the wallet that's receiving all the payouts from the fees on Tornado.
I know they can really seize the wallet, but they can definitely arrest the person. I mean, you can't spend.
Well, they can monitor that off ramp, right? They can say this wallet does this, and this.
Yeah, there are humans behind Tornado Cash that are actively maintaining and running this, right? Now, if they all got arrested, I'm not saying that they deserve to get arrested either. I'm just saying if they were, right, it would be difficult for the project to continue on in its current form. It'd be a little bit different.
Yeah, and mixers in general are a target for sure. Running a mixer is a risky business because it's it's like running a Tor node. Like, theoretically, Richard Stallman, GNU open source, it's fine. But when people start knocking at your door and saying, "Are you running a Tor node? You can't do that." You're like, "Should I be doing this? I mean, I don't really care that much, right?" Like, so I don't know. It's
by the way, just for context, I'm not saying that it should be shut down. All I'm saying is if that it's used exclusively for illicit activities, there's a higher likelihood that there could be twist in how it's operated, right?
Well, so and I will say, like, let's approach it from the other side. What is the legitimate use of a mixer other than privacy, which is honestly one of those things we could argue about? What's the value of privacy? What is the use of a mixer? It doesn't serve a utility other than privacy or obfuscation. But also, funnily enough, the leaders say they are not going to comply with sanctions. So, like, I just Googled Tornado Cash smart contract, and it says they don't plan to comply with sanctions. This is in March 10th, so they might be doing what Ralph said and just kind of,
So what's interesting is so they actually have a stats page here. I'm gonna paste this into our chat real quick so you can see the stats. It's a Dune analytics dashboard. What's interesting, and Ryan, you can pull that up too, is apparently there's only like 12,000 unique users that have ever deposited into Tornado Cash. Like that number seems really, really low.
Well, that's the people that are that is the people that are staking, right? And then the withdrawals are the people that are using it for mixing.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because how could there be more withdrawals than?
Because I would imagine that's from the mixing.
Oh,
right?
I guess that's the whole point, right? You deposit from one, then you withdraw from 4.
Multiple. Yeah.
True. I mean, honestly, Ralph's argument of like the VPN providers that only get used by hackers, maybe that's the case with Tornado Cash. I mean, dude, I guess I don't really care if anyone knows that I sent Ralph ETH because I'm not, I guess it'd be kind of weird if my friends knew I had bought something for 14 ETH. They'd be like, "Oh wow, he's rich." But like, none of my friends really care or like, like I don't know. Like, I also don't publish my wallet address, right? That's actually,
That's
you know,
like crypto in the first place. It's pseudo anonymous, right? Like
yeah,
it's what your name isn't attached to it, right?
exactly. I mean, Coinbase might know what my wallet address is or whatever, but
Yeah.
and the government probably does because they subpoenaed it from Coinbase. But like the average person, and it's not like when you win the lottery, they're like, here's a picture of the person and their name. It's like, oh, that sucks. Sucks for them.
At this point, the tornado cash people better hope they live in Russia. That's all I'm saying. Because like there is, they have a target on their back, and
They do. That's what they're best known for. Exactly. Yeah, it's like, yeah, for sure.
Now,
It'll be interesting.
Now, does that mean that something like this won't exist in some way, shape, or form? Yeah, there'll always be another, right? It's like
yeah. I mean, like Bo said, it's a smart contract. Yeah.
Yep. Somebody will redeploy it and just be like, all right, we're back again. Like
yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, I will say I was in an ETH torn pool and it was terrible. The performance was terrible. So like probably because no one hacked anyone during that few weeks that I had staked in it. Like I needed someone to start using it. But yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Stake at your own risk.
Stake at your own risk. That's right.
I mean, that can be said about any staking pool. We talk about hacks all the time where staking pools get compromised.
Yeah, I would say
so.
DeFi is definitely the risky business more than any.
All right, moving on to the next story. So another hack. So this next one is on a project called Paraluni, a metaverse project, was the victim of a $1.7 million hack. Let's see, they tracked the stolen funds using an anti-laundering tool, Mistrack. Let's see, so Paraluni is a metaverse DeFi project on the BSC chain where users can provide liquidity to earn yield. That's exactly what we were just talking about. And there was, let's see, what was the issue here? The deposit
Master
by
Chef.
add liquidity function within the Master Chef contract does not check whether the LP token constructed by the incoming token array parameter underscore tokens corresponds to the specified underscore PID parameter and is consistent with the LP token in the pool. There's also no reentrancy restriction when adding liquidity calculations, leading to the use of malicious contracts to conduct reentrancy attacks. So it looks like possibly another reentrancy issue here, which is interesting because we've had a few of those lately, and I thought we'd seen some improvements over the last bit.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of these metaverse DeFi complex, cross-chain stuff where you're getting these attacks more often because they're so distributed. It's hard to prevent reentrancy when you're dealing with all this abstraction, but I mean, it's definitely on the hot list of what you should be checking for if you are getting audited or if you're doing basic testing. This is why people said Pancake went down, right? Because Pancake, they pulled a bunch of Pancake out. So.
And I guess we lost Ralph.
Ralph's only a simulation.
Yeah, that's true. He's lost on the mempool.
He'll be back. He's probably
a
just
transaction. He didn't pay enough gas.
He didn't pay enough gas.
All right. So one thing I think we forgot to mention on the last story is, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because we're talking about reentrancy, is how do these get introduced, right? And what's interesting is in certain decentralized exchanges and different protocols, they will implement new coins, right? So they'll add new pairs, new trading pairs. And I believe that's what we saw happen with, I think it was the Deus one, where they introduced a new trading pair. And that trading pair is what actually introduced the reentrancy vulnerability because of that specific coin having an issue, that specific contract having an additional issue. And that's something we actually saw happen to Cream Finance last year as well, where basically they added a new token pair. That token pair itself, like the actual contract associated with that token pair, introduced a reentrancy vulnerability into something that was otherwise already pretty secure, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened to LP token, which is USDT and BUSD. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's tough when you're making these calculations in the DeFi space, like the liquidity calculations. You're using someone else's code, right? So.
Yes,
Supply
I guess,
chain.
especially when you start thinking about like implementing other contracts, like that's, that's one thing that I think like on a research side would actually probably be really, really interesting to see like what projects are pulling in other contracts, right? So not just decentralized exchanges, but trading like NFTs and stuff, right? I was looking at a contract, an NFT trading platform the other day that has a bug bounty, and one of the things I noticed is that they pull in the contract associated with that NFT to call the transfer function from that contract, and it made me start thinking like, okay, so if you started building malicious contracts and create a custom NFT contract and modified your own transfer function, you might find some interesting issues there.
Yeah. I mean, it's similar to like the one we talked about last week with the person that was selling the NFTs on Fiverr. Like they created a modified contract that basically would never allow the actual owner to be reassigned.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. I mean, it's classic crypto. I mean, this is what we talk about almost every week, but it's a big, scary world out there with big numbers and a lot of code that very few people truly understand. So, and you have a lot of abstraction layers and proxy layers and all this stuff that's built on these decentralized markets where who wrote this code?
And the other part is everybody wants to get rich quick.
Well, yeah, that's true, right?
That's the allure. That's
I mean,
what
the famous quote, that I made, which is like $100 million, no downsides. Like
guys, we need T-shirts. We need one that says "Code is law," and then on the back it says $100 million, no downsides.
Yeah, it's scary. It really is. But
dude, why haven't they made like the crocodile of what is it, Wall Street or whatever, like a logo? We need
merch
because Netflix bought the rights,
merch.
dude.
Yeah, dude, they probably do. They probably do. I think I would make this shirt and get like Netflixed, like DMCA'd or whatever.
How are they gonna fund the show? Because
I mean, with the oodles of money they get from I don't know, that was a totally separate story, but I guess they're starting to crack down on password sharing too. So, but anyways.
Well, yeah, we'll leave that for the BHIS news. But...
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, CoinJoin blocking Wasabi wallet transactions?
Yes, this is interesting. So they're apparently CoinJoin is moving to block illicit transactions. So CoinJoin is kind of like
all
the Tornado
transactions?
Cash of Bitcoin.
No, just the stuff we send.
The founder of Wasabi Wallet called the decision a major setback for Bitcoin's fungibility, while one of the developers advocated for the use of other privacy coordinators over ZK snacks.
So yeah, let's take a step back here. What is an illicit transaction on Bitcoin, and how is that possibly tracked? Like, how is that being flagged, right? Like, they probably have I assume they have a press release about this.
So they're blocking UTXOs.
Certain UTXOs.
Yeah.
What is a UTXO? Unspent transaction output?
Transaction, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so it's like a broad block. These UTXOs they're the origin of the mixers. So like it's basically like a source of when you see a UTXO transaction, you can assume it's from a mixer. So
Yeah, I was looking at so there's another one. So CoinJoin is one that's implemented in a lot of wallets. There's also PayJoin out there. There's certain attributes you can see on some of these mixing services that can lead you to know what transactions, or give you an idea that they're a mixed transaction. And I guess like that, like we just said, like is if it's coming from a CoinJoin UTXO, then I guess they're going to try to block it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously this sentence reads like it was generated by an AI, but it basically says that
I am human.
that the blocking of UTXOs is limited to the ZK snacks coordinator, and people using any other coordinator can still feel private and secure. So I'm not super sure what wallets use the ZK snacks coordinator. I'm going to go ahead and assume Wasabi was before. So I guess also interestingly, the article calls out, according to the 2021 Chainalysis like yearly report or whatever we're going to call it, only 0.15% of crypto transactions were illicit. So that seems a little optimistic to me, but pretty low percentage.
I mean, they just use dollars. That's why.
Yeah, I guess it's like how I don't know. To me, it's a selection bias, right? What are you classifying as illicit? Like, I feel like a lot of these times you can't track, like, is a whale sending $100 million illicit? I don't know. Like, what are they doing with it, right? Like, I feel like it's such a black box. There's no way you can say, oh, only this percentage was illicit. Like, I guess it's
So
what
that
it
makes
is.
you wonder. That makes you wonder. Do you think we'll see other centralized exchanges block transactions that have originated at any time from something like a Tornado Cash, right?
For sure. Or at least increase the KYC measures and increase hold periods and things like that. I could see it. Like, oh, your transactions coming from a UTXO, we're gonna hold it for 10 days, and we're gonna, you need to send us a picture of your passport, your like all that stuff. So, I mean, I think the pressure's on. Which actually, I don't know if we're gonna talk about this if the article made it up into the show notes, but basically a lot of people are speculating that the reason crypto isn't going crazy right now, despite all the unrest and inflation, is because crypto's getting a lot of eyeballs from nation states, from governments like Canada, Ukraine, Russia, US.
Is that the Bitcoin was made for this moment, so why isn't it booming article?
Yes.
All right, I'll add that one in real quick.
So yeah, I mean, it's a New York Times article, so take it with a grain. But basically, the idea is that because governments, like we saw Canada try to sanction transactions for their Freedom Convoy. We see the U.S. has Biden's like investigation into cryptocurrency. We talked about that last week, and a lot of people may think that the exchanges like Coinbase and others are going to be under a lot of more pressure from the government to do things like block transactions from UTXOs and block, malicious, illicit transactions. Like, so that kind of affects the price in some way. Not that people are using it for illicit transactions, but it shows, like we talked about, the on-ramps and off-ramps are still traditional finance. The on-ramps, turning it into US dollars is still traditional finance. So obviously this is editorial, this is speculation. Basically inflation is super high, at least in here. It's high in the US, it's definitely high in Russia. I mean, it's insane. But the, cryptocurrency isn't booming. Like, Ukraine got $100 million in crypto donations. You'd think that would skyrocket the price, but it hasn't. So that basically their arguments for why it hasn't jumped in price is because there are other, so we talked already about the fact that people don't like the government's eyes being on crypto because it kind of leads to regulation, and people get scared when that happens. But also a lot of people have said that the prices being so high were because people aren't using it as a currency. They're using it as an investment, like a traditional investment where people just want to put it. Yeah, people want to put in money and have it go up. And then when there's unrest, people get uncertain and then they pull the money out. So, but yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, the other thing too is if you think about like the Ukrainian donations and stuff, they're like getting the donations, but they're spending it right away. So that should, not
exactly. Yeah, that shouldn't have a effect on the price. But you'd think you'd think that just the visibility would cause a jump in price, but I think it's like the visibility is good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially because the government, when the government starts getting involved, it can cause problems. So,
Yeah.
although South Korea published something that they're not going to tax crypto gains, so
Nice.
it could go either way, right? Could go either way. But anyway, not to derail too much. Just wanted to bring in the old geopolitical whipping boy.
What's up? He's here.
Awesome. All right.
So back to supply chain.
To supply
Tell me
chain
about
or
malicious.
CoinJoin?
Tell me about
Oh.
malicious NPM packages. It's like, I don't know. It's supply chain, right?
Anything with Node
Yeah.
is just one malicious package away from destroying your computer or just running out of hard drive space because it's like 9,000 bazillion files and 400 gigs to load a website now.
I've never heard of something referred to as a code bomb. We've got lurking code
they-
bombs.
Does it say? Oh my god, it does say that. The lurking code bombs. All right, so a series of malicious packages in the Node.js package manager npm code repository are looking to harvest Discord tokens, which can be used to take over unsuspecting users' accounts and servers.
No.
So, this is something we've seen.
Wait, people write
like-
malicious code?
I see
I can't believe
probably
it.
a Discord server get hacked daily. Like, no joke.
You're
I'm
in too many
not even
Discords.
kidding. So I'm in a few that they actively post like security alerts, right? So they'll say like, "Hey, this Discord's hacked. Hey, this Discord's hacked."
Okay.
And it's literally daily that Discord servers are getting hacked. Some of them end up being like way worse than others, right? Where they'll mint, have like a fake NFT page or whatever, and they'll mint like $1 million worth of NFTs.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
pretty
so this
funny.
is definitely
Yeah. I mean,
It's
first of all, people do write malicious code. Shocker. We know this. Just because it's sitting in NPM doesn't mean it's like. I'd like to remind everyone, anyone can just push anything into NPM. Like I can go in Python and create a cryptocurrency miner and just push it into PyPy, right? Like people write malicious code and like that isn't a reason to be concerned. But like Bo said, it is the target. Discord is the target. It was never really built for this. I don't think it wasn't built for like extreme OPSEC really. That's not really how it was built. It was built for like sharing and join and things like that. So definitely be wary. Be very wary of any
So
link that
what are the
comes.
packages? Like what that's what I'm trying to find out in the article. Like what is it that would get installed? Is it something that's just like typo squatting? Like something that's used by it is typo squatting. Or no, it
Yeah.
says additionally the package
it's a
of
few
different
different.
infection.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Because yeah,
there's,
like that's the thing, like what you just mentioned, right? Like so if I created an npm package that was like named something slightly different to, try to hit somebody that typoed the name of the package, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Then
you
you're
go
just
clone the package and then you include like one other little thing, like to, send out the Discord token or whatever. I'm sure there's Discord bots probably as npm packages.
Well,
I guess.
that's what
Yeah,
they're
well,
talking-
there's a ton of attacks. I mean, we talked. I don't know if it was on the BHIS news podcast, but we talked about how something like 30% of the keys on NPM are expired, or like there's expired domains, there's expired emails. That's what it was. It was expired emails. So like if theoretically in an email takeover, people could take over like actual in-use production NPM packages. So.
Yeah, so they're renaming the packages to some other Discord npm package, like you said, typo squatting, and then all you do is add it to the package.json by accident or whatever, or just do npm install
Or
and-
GitHub hacked, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
And then what they're doing is they're these packages are actively looking for secrets on the machine. Now, you got to realize that like functionally, it's not that hard to as a developer to leave some secrets laying around, right? They're in read-only
Especially
text
with
files,
Discord,
Yeah.
the webhooks
environment
URLs.
variables, like they're all over the place, right? And like you consider it on your machine, so it must be safe, right? And so then they grab those keys, which you're going to be using for sure, and then send them back. And once you get a webhook, that could be game over, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I will say I found out yesterday when I was sending Ralph a random executable file that I had made for a tool that Discord scanned the file, marked it as malicious, and then replaced it with a recipe for meatballs. So they do have, I guess, that's a more traditional, attack vector of sending an actual
This is static.
literally just sending an exe file to Ralph, DMing it to him, which is obviously the first thing you would address from a Discord dev perspective. But basically, for those out there that are relying on Discord for anything with money, be very careful what you click. Be very careful what you trust.
Yeah.
I think we really do need some kind of, Discord auditing, I guess you could call it, of server configuration, bot auditing, that kind of stuff. So be very careful.
One of the things that we find on pen tests all the time, like every assessment, is creds stored in files, right? Clear text creds.
Yeah.
And I have actually seen, during just poking around on, Web3 sites where Discord webhooks have just been accessible on websites because they're just misconfigured, right? And that's something that I think that, even if you audited the server itself, right? And said, okay, you've got this lockdown pretty good. You got access control set up. You've got only these 2 people that should be able to do this. You've got a couple of bots. Those webhooks for whatever those bots are using, wherever they're storing them is actually where people are stealing these, right?
So there's. Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm done.
Oh no, I was just gonna say there's from a global or a high level standpoint, there's really 2 primary issues with secrets management. And the first one is where you're storing them, or where they're at, right? And the idea of whether you're storing it on a file system or whatever, just some way that can easily be accessed, right? And the way that we've kind of developed into secrets, it's not about the fact that necessarily someone can access it. It's the fact that whether someone else accessed it, right? So detecting that the secret's out there, and then 2, bringing in secrets in real time, right? Like secrets rotation and other things like that. An API key is unspecial, right? So rotating keys and other things like that are some good OPSEC things to do. And then pulling those keys in from some kind of secrets manager is another thing as well. So
and I would also, to add on to that, if you are relying on a bot for things like posting, posting links to minting and important, if you're relying on a bot for things that are financially significant, that have large dollar values, I would highly recommend. I know CI/CD is the golden goose, and you don't want to call the baby ugly, but highly recommend considering going to manual updates for that bot. Don't pull from GitHub every week. Don't pull from NPM every week. Leave it all static until you can manually review the changes to make sure that you aren't just pulling in some malicious NPM package that, the GitHub developer got compromised, or it's, could be malicious on the intention of the bot developer. When large sums of money get starting to thrown around, incentives change, and developers are not necessarily. They're very altruistic as a group, but just because they're a developer doesn't mean they're, good. They could be evil.
The other thing too is that I'm surprised this doesn't exist yet, but some kind of signature validation for NPM packages, right? That should definitely be in the package.json so that you can be hey, only use packages with this signature, right?
Yeah, pip
KYC for package deployment.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, no, I mean, you already have this with JavaScript sub integrity, where you can actually validate that.
Yeah, pip has it too. You can put the signature of the package in the specific hard locked version.
Yes.
So
and
basically,
every time you pull it, you're getting the right thing, and you're going to get this weird error and be oh, look, this is typoed, right? So.
CI/CD is an attack vector. You need to be aware of it, and you need to be have mitigating controls in place so that
you dev with dev keys and you prod with prod keys, right? That's the other thing too, right? Separating your when you're developing, so that way you're messing with a bunch of stuff, you're playing with new packages, you're doing whatever, all that stuff's dev. It's not the Discord prod key, right?
Well, and you definitely should never trust the supply chain of those packages, right? Vet every single package you're using. If a new package gets included, question why it got included. Make sure that enforce the signatures on the packages and all that stuff. So
Yeah. No, definitely having a dev and a prod environment is probably really useful in this scenario because if like, they get the webhook for your just development Discord, like, cool, awesome. Now I know that I got hacked, but nothing bad happened, right?
that's going to push out our token release by 2 weeks, Ralph. That's going to cause a lot of money to go down the tubes.
I didn't write the rules. I just tried to make more secure.
All right. Moving on. Good stuff. All right, so next up, big news this week. We have Ape token.
What?
Yeah, so
Did you ape in on the token?
of course. But yesterday, the creators of Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Yacht Club, Mutant Apes, Board Kennel Club, like Yuga Labs, the company that created all of those, they released their own token called Ape Token. And since yesterday, it's already jumped to number 35 on CoinMarketCap, which is crazy, in just a day. So Ape Token got dropped, and immediately somebody figured out a way to basically get $820,000 worth of it by doing a flash loan attack.
Perfect.
Yeah. So the thing is that basically, if you owned Bored Apes or Mutants or the dogs, you were able to get a certain amount of tokens via the airdrop on claim. So it wasn't like they didn't actually airdrop it to your wallet. You had to go claim it. So what somebody did is they bought NFT number 1060 from OpenSea and then used it as the flash loan fee to something called NFTX Vault, which is a platform that allows users to create liquid markets for illiquid NFTs. Users can deposit their NFTs into the vault and mint a fungible ERC20 token, which can then be redeemed for specific NFTs from the vault. The attacker used the borrowed BASE tokens to redeem the following BASE NFTs. So they got 5 NFTs basically. So they bought one, flash loaned to get 5, use those 5 to go claim 60,000 ape tokens, and then repaid the flash loan back. So basically, they exploited this idea of an illiquid NFT pool of sorts.
I
You can
honestly have
borrow
no
an
idea
NFT?
who paid for that. Was it the pool, the illiquid NFT pool, that ended up losing that money?
Well, yeah. So the illiquid NFT pool could have gone and claimed those ape tokens because they technically had them in their possession, right?
Yeah.
So
But you're
nobody's actually
borrowing.
necessarily losing money there, right? It's more like, well, I guess technically they're kind of losing money because it unclaimed funds.
They
right?
didn't claim the tokens from the NFT that they owned. Someone else
Exactly. Yep.
But you can borrow an NFT. Is that what this platform allows you to do?
Looks like it.
Okay. So you can just borrow an NFT for like, I don't know, a block. And
Yeah,
then
I
So
have-
crazy.
This is the first I've heard about it.
So yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, they stole the tokens that were unclaimed for that NFT that you could borrow, I guess, if I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah.
So was
that's
it?
what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, they probably were just sitting on this attack, waiting for the drop, waiting for the airdrop, and then ran it as soon as it started.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fragile. Must be
All
French.
right. Last story for today. We've got a Discord hack. We were just talking about that.
No.
So this one actually is a fairly large Discord hack. Like so a lot of the ones we've seen, we see, maybe $50,000, $100,000, stolen from people, which is
Losers.
still that's a lot. But this one is $800,000 in NFTs they were able to fish. So Rare Bears Discord, recent
Rare
launched
Bears?
NFT project Rare Bears, was hit with an attack after a hacker posted a phishing link in the project's Discord channel, stealing nearly $800,000 in NFTs, $800,000. They were able to steal 179 NFTs, including Rare Bears and other NFTs from various collections, including CloneX, Azuki, a MFer, and 6 land tokens from the sandbox. So this reminds me of the OpenSea phishing attack we talked about probably a few weeks ago where there was like, I think it was like 30 or so people that they approved token transfer for their NFTs. And I am willing to bet, I haven't finished reading this article, but I'm willing to bet that that is probably what happened here too. Let's see.
Yeah, it doesn't really give. It just says that they were scammed, phishing link, draining wallets.
Yeah, I mean the reason that this is happening is obviously one, the webhooks from Discord are getting compromised, but the second one is that
So yeah. Well,
For
so that's the thing, right? So it's this one. I don't think was an actual webhook. So it says that the head of the
account was
project's
yeah.
Discord account, right? So probably some sort of phishing or password reuse, something like that.
But the other problem is that with these platforms, with these NFT airdrops, there's like a crazy incentive to be the very first to click on this, right?
Yep.
Like it's all about like run and gun as fast as you can, like, and
Exactly.
that's the problem, right? While his account getting compromised, but like nobody's ever looking at it like, oh, I better check to make sure if this is the right thing. They're like, go, buy as fast as I can. So
Yeah, and so the thing is, like, people need to be trained better, I think, and seeing to understanding what they're seeing and understanding what is legit and what's not, because oftentimes, like, the site that you go to, like whatever site, I mean, sure, they might like clone your website, but if you start looking at characteristics of things like the domain, if you start looking at the like MetaMask, like, so a lot of times they'll copy the picture of MetaMask, right, and just put it up there. Like, it won't be an official thing, right? It won't be like the official MetaMask. It'll be something that gets you to do something that you don't actually know what you're doing. There's a lot of different characteristics to look for, especially when it comes to token approvals. Now, anytime that you go to mint something or purchase, from a smart contract, I would say that I'm not aware of any time where you need to actually set approval for that contract to have any access to any of your tokens in order to do that mint. Usually, what happens is the minting process it's a MetaMask transaction that you're literally just calling a function in the contract to mint. But if you ever see anything around set approval, usually what that means is that the contract itself that you're interacting with is requesting the ability to transfer tokens on your behalf. And that's what gets people.
yeah. I mean,
Also,
I think
can we
it's-
just have a little industry-wide pact where we don't do NFT mint drops on Discord? Can we just can we just do that? Like why is Discord that, like, dude, web programming is not that hard. I mean, come on.
Well,
Right.
they're just announcing it on Discord, and then
the
their
mint
URL
doesn't
is
actually
totally
happen on
public.
Discord.
Yeah.
Well, the point is, can we not announce it on Discord?
Well, okay, so what would be a better verified way to do it?
Well, a signed message on the blockchain is the best, right?
That's not a bad idea.
I mean, use the blockchain, but also like Twitter, a single point of failure. Because here's the thing about Discord. Every single account that has access at that level is a point of failure, right?
Yeah.
And you have to think, the projects themselves.
Private Discord, though. It's a private.
So this comes.
It's
you
a
know what this
private
comes down
Discord,
to?
but how many moderators
hold
are
on.
there? 10?
This comes
20?
down to the age-old security argument of usability versus security, right? Now, sure, you could write a message to the blockchain. Who actually knows how to do that, though?
Hopefully, people that are minting NFTs.
They don't.
They don't, though.
They know how to click through MetaMask and say accept.
So what would happen is you would do that, and then what would end up happening is people would end up just posting the link in a Discord somewhere.
Yeah, they would post the link.
And then you would be actually making your users more at risk because they're relying on each other, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
so I've seen some use Twitter, right? I mean, that I don't know if that's any better.
At least it's one point of failure instead of many.
Yeah. So that's the thing
One
with
account.
Discord, right? Like, yeah, with the multiple moderators, multiple admins, webhooks,
bots.
And so the other thing too that I don't think we've seen, or
They
I don't know
used
if
a
we've seen
bot to
attacks
hide their
happen.
tracks, by the way, which is really interesting. They used a bot that they invited a bot to the server, and then it restricted all the other moderators and restricted posts in all the channels that would show that the attack was fake. So
One thing I don't think we've actually seen yet. I mean, it could be that it's out there and has happened. Is OAuth attacks with Discord. So you can approve OAuth applications to have access to your Discord account, and it's similar, just like the same thing like we see on Azure, right? Like I can send a illicit consent grant attack phishing message that says, "Hey, allow me access to read your email," right? And all I have to do is click approve. That's it. And I honestly, I'm really curious to see what the attack surface is there, and it's probably a good research place. But that's another thing too, right? Like, so we talked about like credential reuse. We talked about phishing of just credentials in general against mods. But the webhook thing, right? Like that's another big thing. But also OAuth attacks, right? Like it's totally possible for somebody to grant permission to write to a Discord on their behalf.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the other, and like they hired some security researcher dude to like audit their Discord, which is interesting that you can do that. But the other thing that the security researcher said is stealth drops are sketchy. Like they're not real good projects will not be doing stealth drops. So if you see that, it's just like that email in your inbox that says, click here to win a Bored Ape or whatever. Like, basically if you see that stealth drop on Discord, maybe question it before you go ahead and click approve. And like Bo said, question the stealth drops, because really good projects, like above board projects, aren't doing stealth drops. And when you go to actually make those approvals, check what the contract, obviously it's hard to like read the contract like from scratch to just actually be like, this is what the contract says, but review your approvals and make sure that there isn't anything extra in that mint. So
the other thing too, this comes down to is not necessarily like a relation to like insecure Discord. I think it's just like configuring and like kind of like how you would set up a security model. It's like saying here's another like analogy, right? That's like saying AWS is insecure because I didn't lock down my IAM roles, right? It's inherently all just so insecure. Like, why would you use AWS, right? Obviously, you take over one account, you can take over everything, right?
I mean, it's a little different because it's shared infrastructure. It'd be like if you used an AWS instance that 30 other companies had access to.
Well, no, it's a individual Discord, right? I mean, you're just
saying
it's
not. How many mods are there?
No.
However many mods there are, that's how many SSH keys
you have in your
added.
AWS account. How many users do you have in your AWS account who have the same administrator privilege role, dude? This is just simple.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that's a weakness, right?
That is a weakness. And so how would you fix that in AWS?
Delete those accounts, but you can't just delete your mods.
No. You just don't give them access. Like, you just don't give them access to post in that channel, right? You have like one.
But that's what mods do. I mean, yeah, you're right, but that's what mods do. Because mods need to be able to notify people, oh, there is a stealth NFT drop.
So there's only one account that can post in this channel, right? I mean, like, there's ways to make it, least privilege.
I mean, you want to know the coolest way that I just thought of? Here's what you do. You have a multi-chain or multi-key wallet that posts to the blockchain. The only person that's allowed to post in this channel is a bot that pulls it from the blockchain.
Oh, there you go. And it reads the signature.
Yes, it reads the signature and says, does it come from the dev multi-chain wallet or multi-key wallet? And if it doesn't, then it doesn't post the message.
Yeah, but where are the keys to that bot?
Well, the bot is just less access, right? I mean, you're right, but
yeah, there's always a way. But like
you lock it away. You create it, you test it, you lock it away. It's a cold wallet. It's like a cold bot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like you just said it, all right, Bo. You said that once it's on the chain, right, it doesn't need anything. So you write it, you put the code, on the blockchain, and just let it go from there, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be mostly it would just be kind of cool, right, to have
smart
that
contract Discord bot. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a Discord bot that only posts. That's the only one that can post in this channel. I mean, it would limit your attack surface pretty solidly.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you never can remove your.
You're
entire
right though, Bo. Like Bo said, the bot still has a token. I mean, the difference is hopefully the bot. You could put that in cold storage or
You shouldn't be modifying that code ever. Like that key shouldn't be on any other computer. Like, if you get attacked, right, it was already posted. It's off this, there's a bunch of different ways to like take the precautions to limit your attack surface so that, getting to that bot is just, even after you compromise my computer, it's just not possible.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I guess at the end of the day, why are we taking traditional security approaches to solving crypto problems, right? Like crypto has all this consensus and signing and all this stuff built into it. Like there's ways to do it that are, we have multi-key wallets. We have we have crypto that does this shit. It's just, we have to use it. We can't just be like, oh yeah, we're still, we got all this crypto, but we're really just emails, we're just using emails. Like, I don't know, like.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we've hit our time for today, guys. It's been a good chat.
Where's Ryan? Ryan, come back. I'm scared.
Baby, come back.
Ayo.
Oh, hey.
He was here the whole time.
I'm here.
Oh, thank God.
I just creep in the background. That's all.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, it's been fun, guys. I'm gonna be out next week, so I don't know. You guys can do a show if you want. You don't need me.
You can do it. No, we need you, Bo. You're the glue.
You're the glue. We're just like I don't know, like duct tape, right? Like.
All right.
Where does
we'll
duct tape?
skip next week. We'll come back in 2 weeks. But
see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yep. For episode 60 will be the next one in 2 weeks.
Episode 60. Man, we're getting old.
I know.
We're retiring soon, right, guys? 65.
65.
I thought we were working until 100.
That's right. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do 100 this year.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
When we hit 100, Ryan's gonna buy a mutant ape.
Yo, for all
we're
of
gonna
us.
start doubling up on episodes. Like,
Doubling up.
Doubling up. We're like, we're doing 2 this week,
We
guys.
can just skip from like 70 to 100. No one will know.
We just we just add some numbers. We're like, we can't count.
Each story is just an episode, right? Like 10 minutes. We can make it happen. All right. Well,
You
guys,
get
go
like
follow us on-
6 episodes that way.
Yeah, exactly. Go follow us on Twitter. Smash that like button. All
Smash
the
it.
things.
Slap like.
Slap
And
the like. Call your friend. Tell
will-
them to subscribe.
Yep, exactly. All right, everyone. Take it easy. We'll see
Bye.
you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Later, guys.